Yes, it's cold. I can't feel my hands. My nose is running. The things I do for this channel, I don't know.
Hey yo, now then. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the THULE XT Easy Fold bike rack. Yes, it's expensive. It's really expensive. But when you want to carry around your pride and joy, you want something that's secure, sexy, and easy to deal with. Welcome to the channel.
So you've got your fancy e-mountain bike and you've done all the local trails, and now it's time to actually start going further afield. And this, when we get into bike transport, does it go on the back? Does it go on the top? Or do you use one of the cheaper kind of, let's just say, Halfords ones with the straps? Now, I did a lot of research into these, and everybody out there on the interwebs and everywhere else on the forum said you want to get the THULE XT Easy Fold. It literally is super, super easy in order to get your e-mountain on the back, because a lot of these bike stands and bike carriers don't actually support e-mountain bikes due to the weight. The THULE is looking a little bit mucky, but as you saw me getting that out of the vehicle, it really does fold up nice and compact, and you can put this in your boot. You do need to put a English number plate on the back there, but again, these don't really cost a lot. And I'll show you the procedure for actually putting this on the back of your bike. When they say easy fold, it really is easy fold. One of the first things you're going to have to take into account is if you've got the proper ball mount. Even though this vehicle, when I bought it, was for pulling caravans, the actual ball joint was slightly different to the one that's compatible with THULE being a European rather than the English standard. So do make sure that you've got the right ball on. This was around £12 fitted, so it's not a massive issue. I also had to double up these plates, which cost £3.50, because this came with a double power socket. One for the power of the THULE, and the other one is actually for a pleasure battery for caravans. So be aware of that if you're actually thinking of getting one. Make sure you've got the right ball head. So all we need to do now is literally lift this with the wire out of the way, which I'll show you in a second where that goes, and literally just drop it straight onto the ball joint, like so, and we push the handle down. It is as simple as that. Once we've actually got this on the back, all we need to do is literally unfold it, hence the name Easy Fold. We just pull these two down, and that's it. That is now locked into place, ready to put your bike straight on the back. Simple, easy, and it only takes literally, what, 20-30 seconds in order to get this on the back of your car. Next, we need to add the power, which is this socket here. And you may need to get a small adapter. This has actually got a small adapter on it to make this compatible with EU and the British power supplies. And that just lifts up, push that straight in, give it a bit of a wiggle, if I can get it in the right way. Give it a bit of a wiggle, and there you go. Your power supply is now in there, ready for your indicators, your brake lights, and your warning hazard lights. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next up, we're going to put our pride and joy on the back here. And we're just going to lift it straight up. Needless to say, you need to make sure that you haven't got your battery on. Lift your bike up, put it in the grooves, like so, and just try and roughly centre this on the back. And what I tend to do first of all is I actually put the first clamp on, but we'll talk about that in a second. As I just put a little bit of tension on here, I'll show you something that you need to be aware of, especially if you've got a carbon frame bike. You need to get this special little attachment that actually goes around the frame. So when you clamp this, it distributes the pressure evenly, and you're not going to crack the frame on your beautiful carbon high bike that you're still paying off on finance. You get the idea. These are around, I think this was around £9, but I will put a link to that in the description box below if you want it. And of course, all these locks on here are lockable. And I'll show you another feature that once I've actually got the bike on here with this main one quite tight, I don't overly tighten it, then there are a couple of other fittings here that we need to fit on the bike. So we've got our bike up there now with the main clamp, and then we have these ratchets that just literally flick through. You get it, you know the idea with these, and you just tighten them up down here, and then we'll do the same on the other one as well, so your bike is nice and secure. So now that the actual bike's on the main frame, there is actually a second clamp here, which is used for a second bike here on the actual frame, but I use this for something else. What I actually do is I bring the pedals around like so. This is a little bit difficult with one hand, I apologize, and I actually use this to clamp the actual pedal. I can't do it with one-handed, but you get the idea. I clamp the actual pedal onto that one so it just feels even more secure, because what I've found is, even though this is completely safe and you're going to have no problems whatsoever, mentally you feel when you're riding and driving around that this is actually going to come off, even though there's no chance, because this can carry 2 e-mountain quite easily. But mentally, until you get used to it, you're going to be constantly worrying about your pride and joy. So there's one other brilliant feature of this Thule, and that is the ability to just get in your boot, even though your bike is actually on the back. You can actually press a button down here and tilt the whole frame back, meaning you can then get into the boot of your car. Fantastic. So this is the bike parker, and this basically goes over your bike to protect it once you've actually got it on there and you're driving around. You don't want to get other people looking at your bike. You don't want to get your bike dirty or muddy, or even if it starts to rain when you're out there. It gives your bike a little bit of protection, and this thing is really quite cool. Putting over, it's waterproof, fairly rip-proof. Of course, with the DMR Volts, you've got to be careful with those pedals. My hands are bloody freezing, so I'm not putting this back in this bag. Believe me, my hands are frozen. But there you are, the bike parker. Let's get this out, get it on the bike, and I shall show you what it's all about. All right.
The bike parker does have a couple of markings on it to show you where to put the front wheel, and it is elasticated with a pull strip that makes it tighter. It can be a little bit awkward to get on, if I'm honest, especially when it comes to the handlebars. So if you've got some wide bars on there, plus the grips, it can be a little bit of squeezing and pulling up to the top. But it's not so bad once you've got it on. Just try and make sure that you get it in a straight line, because as I'll show you in a second, the way that I actually fasten this on the bike as an extra bit of security, you really do need to make sure that you've got it even front and back. But I think this is a really good investment. Keeps your bike safe, stops people looking at it, and it just, well, look at it. It's cool.
To actually secure it, I actually just put a carabiner underneath from one side to the other, and this means it can't actually come off. But it's a brilliant way to keep your bike completely dry, clean, once you've cleaned it on the ride, and nobody's going to be able to see what's on there, and it gives your bike a little bit of protection, as I've said, from the rope, grime and dirt. And it's just a brilliant way, I think, of an extra thing just to put on your bike. One thing that you'll naturally find that I do all the time is I'm constantly looking in that rearview mirror to make sure that the bike is still there and everything's okay, but that thing is absolutely rock solid. There's not a cat and nails chance that thing is going to come off. And of course you can lock all the locks on there, and with the cover it stops pikeys running up to your bike when you're at traffic lights, or you just put it in reverse and run over them and squash their heads. I find that works quite effectively. So there you have it, the Thule Easy Fold and the Parker. Hope you enjoyed this video, because I cannot feel my fingers.
Ultimately, the Thule XT Easy Fold is kind of expensive, but it's one of those things where everything in e-mountain biking has an initial expensive cost associated with it. But once you've bought it, this thing will last you for years. Looking around on all the social media sites and the forums, everybody seems to recommend the Thule, so I don't think you can really go wrong with this. Yes, expensive, but if you want the best, let's face it, some of us have got £5,000 to £10,000 bikes on the back of our car. You want to make sure that that thing isn't going to come off, get damaged, get scratched, or some pikey running out and try and nick it when you're at the traffic lights. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave me some comments on what you think of the THULE EASY FOLD XT. I love the ability to be able to fold this up, put it in the boot, and fit it within less than 30 seconds and you're off. Yes, putting the bike packer on is a little bit of a faff afterwards, but it protects your bike, and we've been through the pros and cons of that. Well, to be honest, there isn't really any cons, but we've been through the pros of putting that on. Let me know whether you've got the bike packer, whether you've got the THULE. I'm not sponsored by anybody on this channel. I'm way too small for that. So every single penny I earn from work, I'm spending on the bike because I see it as almost an investment to me, moving on into something more interesting further down the line. So if you can help me with any of that, I will be very appreciative. Anyway, thumbs up, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I shall see you in some more e-mountain bike stuff out on the trails, doing this, bit of that, bit of kit. Bloody Kung Fu. I'll see you in another video coming real soon. Bye-bye.